Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. I just want to say that I'm having a little bit of issue with my arm here. I just have a strained muscle, so I'm trying to edit things as best as I can. So there's going to be a extra clip at the end here from yesterday. It's just been a little rough editing, so bear with me here. I'm trying the best that I can. So anyhow, let's get started. Our first story is titled, "Am I a jerk for calling my daughter entitled for rejecting the gently used sweatpants my girlfriend tried to give her? For the past year, my daughter, an 18-year-old female, and her peer group have been obsessed with Aviator Nation Free City sweatpants. Every time a birthday or another special occasion comes along, my daughter sends me a link to either one of those websites and tells me this is at the top of her wish list. My ex is financially struggling right now because she's trying to get her bearings in the workforce, so my daughter only asks me. However, I usually got her something else because I felt the sweats that I saw her wearing that she got from lacrosse were good enough and the sweats already look the same. I was going over my credit card statement from last year in detail, and the other day I saw that my girlfriend, a 21-year-old female, had made numerous purchases at Free City a couple of months ago. When we were having dinner later that evening, I kind of joked about it in passing, and asking if she liked Free City too because my daughter was obsessed with it. She said she actually listed a few of them online, but was annoyed at buyers haggling the prices. I asked if instead of dealing with the selling them for the fraction of its cost, she'd rather just give them to my daughter. My girlfriend said sure, and she could give them to my daughter when she came over to visit. So my daughter comes to visit yesterday, and I tell her that she's always wanted Free City, and my girlfriend happened to wear it. Before my girlfriend came in, my daughter immediately recoiled and said, "No, Dad, I don't want hand-me-downs from your girlfriend." My girlfriend comes in and shows my daughter one, and she asks if she wanted to try it on, and my daughter says, "No, thank you, really, I'm sure." When my girlfriend was walking out the door, my daughter said, "Really, Dad? I don't want hand-me-downs. It's so freaking weird. Why can't you buy me my own when it's on sale?" I was pretty angry that she so rudely rejected my kind gesture from myself and my girlfriend, and that she seems to think that she's too good for gently used sweatpants that she couldn't afford on her own. I told my daughter that I'm pretty sure my girlfriend heard and she needed to apologize for her words and her entitlement because I won't tolerate it in my home. My daughter said that she didn't think she had done anything to apologize for, and I said I meant it, and when I said that she needed to apologize for being too good for hand-me-downs. My daughter ended up getting up and angrily leaving without saying goodbye. Am I the jerk for being angry that my daughter rejected articles of clothing that she herself said that she and every other girl under 25 in our part of California thought was cool? Let me get this straight. You allowed your girlfriend of 21, who's 3 years older than your daughter, to buy brand new leggings that your daughter wants, but you refuse to buy your daughter brand new ones? What? I don't even know where to begin here. Do you think this is sending your daughter the message that you love your girlfriend more than her? I think this is what this is sending. Like, think about this from your daughter's perspective. You clearly can afford these. You just refuse to buy them for her. And then on top of that, why is your girlfriend selling them and making money off of it? I mean, this is such a weird situation. I don't think I understand what's going on here. I have so many questions about how you ended up dating a person who's 21 while you have a daughter who's 18, mentioning that your ex-wife is struggling and trying to get back into the job market seems to tell me that this happened pretty recently. This screams of a pretty raw situation for your daughter in general. I mean, your daughter may even feel like it may feel very uncomfortable receiving gifts from someone who is basically her age. And again, she doesn't want hand-me-downs from your girlfriend who is her age. It's a really awkward and weird situation that you're putting her into. So yeah, I'm going to say that you're the jerk. Try to think about things from your daughter's perspective here. Try to think about things from the perspective of this person who is literally her age that's dating her father now is saying, here, do you want to wear my clothes? Like, she doesn't want to be your daughter's, like, your daughter doesn't want to be her friend. All right? Don't try to push them to be friends. This is a recipe for disaster. You're the jerk. You funded your girlfriend's purchase of sweatpants that she bought just to be trendy and then discarded, if I understand your post about going through your credit card statements right. But you refused to let your daughters have them even though she expressed interest in them multiple times, showing that this was a gift that she would have cherished. Then you offered your girlfriend's used sweatpants to your daughter. Reading between the lines here, it sounds like they're pretty close in age, and it's not the kind of relationship your daughter wants with your girlfriend. They aren't sisters. And giving your daughter your girlfriend's cast-offs sends the message to your daughter that she comes seconds and her wants are an afterthought. Yeah. Am I the jerk for not hiding that I'd fulfilled my own Christmas list? Really stupid thing here. But I keep wondering if I'm the jerk here. I am a 27-year-old female and I'm living with my parents currently due to the things happening around the world. My parents decided that they were only going to shop online for Christmas. Fine, that makes sense, pandemic, etc. They asked me to make an Amazon wish list because they don't like to visit too many websites having their credit card details, and so basically they only use Amazon. I made a wish list containing really modest things, nothing expensive. Socks, stuff for the shower, the particular chocolates I like, nail stuff, scented candles, that kind of thing. Literally nothing more expensive than $20, and most in the $3 to $10 range. My parents are fairly well off, but expensive gifts stopped when I started working. We normally get each other a lot of small things for fun of opening them. They gave me their gift ideas, and I did most of my shopping online too. I spent ages finding things they'd like, and ordered way in advance. Christmas morning arrives, and I take the usual amount of gifts down to mom and dad, only to find the grand total of 3 things waiting for me. They're all random things I didn't ask for. I pretended everything was fine and thanked them for the gifts. But I could tell my mom was embarrassed because she kept saying, "I'm sure I got you something else." The thing I'd put on my list were actually the things I wanted, and I'll admit that I was upset and I put a lot of thought and time into making sure I had what I wanted. While it was pretty clear that they'd completely had forgotten about me and forgot to get me anything I ordered and ordered at the last minute. So after a few beers, I went on Amazon and ordered every last thing on my Christmas list. Trouble is, they all came in separate packages, and I started getting asked questions about why so much stuff was arriving. And eventually I just said, well, I ordered the things for my Christmas list since nobody else did. At which point, both my parents started yelling at me about how difficult it is to shop during a pandemic. And I lost my temper a little, and I pointed out that I'd made it so easy for them, and it was literally one click. Plus, I managed to shop for them just fine. Now, apparently, I'm in the doghouse for being ungrateful. But I sort of felt as though I did enough pretending on Christmas Day, and they probably already knew why I'd ordered all the things. So they just didn't want me to say it. They shouldn't have asked. No, I don't think that you're the jerk here. I think this is... You ordered a bunch of stuff when you were drunk, and you probably were just upset at the time when you were drinking, and it's not like you went downstairs and started yelling about them and how they had, slighted you for Christmas. You handled this in kind of a fine way. I mean, it's not like you set out to hurt them. And when all the stuff started arriving in different packages, they were snoopy and they started asking questions. I think you're probably right. They probably did know to some degree that you were buying stuff from your wish list. It would have also been fine because if they had ordered the stuff and waited for it to get to you after Christmas and just apologized and said, we ordered late, or they could have even had a white lie and said, oh, we ordered it on time, but there were delays in shipping and it's not going to get here until after Christmas. Then they could have at least covered their butt and been like, we're really sorry, we tried to get it to you. But instead, they just got you a few things and then were like, oh, hey, here's things you don't want. So I don't know. I don't think that you handled this poorly. I think that your parents probably were in a tough spot trying to get you stuff, and they're probably right. It was probably difficult for them to shop during the pandemic, but you also didn't necessarily rub this in their face. They asked. Not the jerk. What's the point in asking what someone wants if you won't get it for them? Yeah. Not the jerk. I read this, and from what you said, you literally gave them a very simple list of things from Amazon, and they didn't take the time to order anything. You felt like you were an afterthought, and you took the time to get them things from their list. Your mother's comment is telling because she was embarrassed that you had taken so much time and they didn't even consider your list. You ordered what you wanted, so I don't think it should have been an issue with them ordering you anything. They are projecting because they know they messed up and are upset because you ordered things that they should have ordered. Well, again, they may not have realized that things were going to arrive so late. I know, like, when we were looking online for Christmas stuff, it was really hard to find things to be delivered within a certain reasonable time frame because everything had just gotten so slowed down. And so if you were ordering, anything within 2 weeks, usually, with like Amazon, you can get things, 3 days, 5 days or something like that. And if they were even ordering 2 weeks out, then there's a good chance that they weren't going to be able to get whatever they ordered 3 weeks out too. Like Amazon was, backed up that much. A lot of the postage was backed up that much. So getting things within a reasonable period of time, 2 or 3 weeks out from Christmas, which they probably were expecting to be able to get, probably just didn't happen. But they should have still just ordered stuff and then got it late, I think. So, yeah. Bad situation. Hopefully they do a better job next year. Our last letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My Infertile Friend Pretend That She Was My Kid's Mom? For context, my wife is a 33-year-old female and she has a job working 5 days a week, and I, a 35-year-old male, work from home and take care of my 2 daughters, a 3-year-old female and a 4-year-old female. Without my wife around so much, I occasionally crave social interaction with other adults. Obviously, this has been a hard time because of COVID restrictions, but I've been able to spend some time with my friend Liz, a 35-year-old female. Liz and I have been good friends since college. We're into a lot of the same things, and I love spending time with her. Liz is single and lives alone, and since she doesn't have a family in the city, my wife and I decided to let her into our family bubble. Liz loves kids, and she's amazing with my girls. She plays with them and brings over activities almost every time she comes. Unfortunately, a few years ago, Liz found out that she's infertile, and we've been recently hearing some deeper conversations, and I've realized how much this really affects her. Recently, my 4-year-old had been playing baby a lot, pretending that she's a baby. When Liz came over while my wife was at work, my 4-year-old asked Liz to play with her. I started cleaning up the kitchen, and I found an old bib that I thought my 4-year-old would want to play with. Without thinking, I guess I was just playing along with the game, I told her that Mommy could help put it on. I was embarrassed by what I said, but it seemed to make Liz happy. After this point, the girls began to refer to Liz as Mommy when she was over, and I guess I kind of encouraged it myself by calling her that to my kids. I didn't think it was that much of a problem. The girls were playing along. Liz seemed to like it. And they called her real mom, Mama, anyways. It's not like I was trying to replace her. Then a few days ago, my 3-year-old called Liz Mommy when talking to her about my wife. And she was mad. I told her it was just a game they had been playing, but she thought I had been using it as a way of flirting with Liz. I was surprised, but my wife has been somewhat jealous and paranoid about Liz in the past. I don't understand why the two of them can't be friends. I told her I would talk to the kids, and we decided to drop the argument for the night. The next day, she went to work, and I had Liz over for lunch. We had previously planned this. About an hour into Liz being there, I mindlessly called her Mommy to one of my daughters, and my wife suddenly burst out from downstairs closet yelling that she had caught us and pointing fingers in hysterics. Liz got up and left with my wife yelling at her. I was furious. I just can't believe my wife missed work to hide inside a closet for an hour to spy on us. We had a big fight, and for the past 3 days, she's been cold and has hardly spoken to me. At this point, I am seriously considering going to stay with Liz, as I hate the silent treatment and resentment. I feel like my wife is having a huge overreaction, and I can't believe what she did. But she seems to be thinking that this has put our marriage on the line. Am I a jerk? Alright, OP. I'm going to say that yes, you're the jerk here. And the reason why that you're the jerk is because I think this is probably a betrayal of trust to your wife. It already sounds like your wife had some jealousy issues with Liz, and now you've started calling Liz mommy around the kids. I think that you know why that would make her feel jealous. I mean, this isn't just, oh look, I am accidentally slipping and calling someone mommy for the past few weeks. It's an intentional thing. I'm pretty sure of that. Now, it might have been understandable if you had slipped up and said something about Liz being mommy to your 3-year-old and then immediately corrected and said, oh, Auntie Liz, I'm sorry. And it would be fine to call Liz like Auntie or something like that. And then that way, she could still have a kind of, role in that whole, baby take care type game that she's playing. But that's not what happened here. And again, I can't stress this enough, but your wife already had jealousy issues with Liz, and she's been coming over a lot, and you two have been hanging out, and then suddenly you start calling her mommy, and her kids start calling her mommy. That probably hurts a lot to your wife. It probably feels like you're trying to replace her, and you're trying to replace her with Liz. I can't honestly blame your wife for being hurt here. Now let's address your wife hiding in the closet and waiting for you two. To be honest, she probably thought you two were having an affair. So whether or not you two are knocking boots or not, I think is kind of outside the spectrum of this. For all she knows, you are. You're spending a lot of time with her at home, and now suddenly your 3-year-old starts calling her mommy. To a degree, this feels like a emotional betrayal of trust. It does. And I think that you need to really reflect on this situation and see things from your wife's perspective if you can't understand why this would be so harmful. As for, Liz, I can understand her wanting to have a maternal role, especially if she loves kids and especially if she loves your kids. But it just needs to be kind of tamped back, especially given the, jealous nature that your wife has with this relationship. You're giving her every reason to believe that you're cheating on her. I mean, you are. And you have to understand that that's probably a hard blow to her, and that's probably making her feel very uncomfortable. At this point, I would consider going into couples counseling and talking over the situation and talking over, your marital problems in general. I think you owe your wife an apology, and I think you owe your wife some time and space and for her to collect herself and to kind of process what's going on here. Again, I just can't honestly blame your wife here for being so upset, given all the evidence and everything. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk. You do not teach the children that another woman is their mother behind their actual mother's back. From this situation, your wife is not being paranoid, as you said. You've given her very good cause to suspect that you were cheating on her. After all, you are already replacing her as mother of your own children. And the fact that after the fight, he wants to stay at Liz's house. Yeah, that's going to erase any thoughts about him cheating. Yeah, I mean, maybe going to Liz's house is probably bad decision of the year. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.